Hey, it's a podcast. Everybody, come on in. Welcome to an episode of Dodoborne, a actual play Daggerheart podcast. Daggerheart, for those who are unaware, is a fantasy tabletop role-playing game developed by the lovely people over at Darrington Press, aka the people who do Critical Role. We are going to be playing that system today. It is still in beta, version 1.5. The campaign that we will be running is a modified version of the 5 Banners Burning campaign frame that you can find within the book. Obviously modified for our purposes, as everyone should. But without further ado, allow me to introduce the person on my left, Rowan Collins. Why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself and your character, and then give a really good lead-in to the person on your left, just like I did for you.
Okay, cool. Hey, I'm Rowan Collins, they, them. I'm going to be playing Pistachio Droop, who is an Orderborne Faun Druid of Renewal. They're a little pudgy, nature-y person who's allergic to the outside, which is super fun for them. I'm going to be passing it to Joseph Diamati.
Yep, I'm Joseph Diamati. I'm going to be playing Kapi, who is a Slyborn Firbolg rogue. He is a cow humanoid. Very tall, very lanky. He's been in one place for too long. I think, he's tried to rise through the ranks and he's kind of hit a wall. He's kind of going through the motions. Luckily, he likes to hide all of his trauma with humor. So that's probably good for entertainment. I'm going to pass it to my left, which is Annie Hawthorne.
Hi, I'm Annie Hawthorne, she, her. I will be playing Crank the Clank, who is an Orderborne stalwart guardian and is just 7 feet of pure titanium trying to become a wizard.
And I'm Isaac Allen Burns. That's right, your GM, your best friend, and the person talking right now. Now, some of you might be wondering, Isaac, Orderborne, Slyborn, what are these words? What do they mean? Well, for those of you who are maybe less familiar with Daggerheart, it is similar to other fantasy role-playing games in that when you create a character, you decide a couple of background and ancestral traits for that character, rather than being specific words that we have heard before, like sage and soldier. In this one, you can select backgrounds that are a little more general so that you can make it your own. Because one big difference between this one and other, perhaps more popular tabletop role-playing games is that this is a lot more collaborative, a lot more storytelling based. Well, on that note, cue the music. Welcome to Altea. Shit. Hang on. Let's try that again. Hang on. I'm sorry.
If you're a dodo, maybe you don't know. Maybe you have wings that don't do a thing. Maybe there's something to all of this nothing. No looking back, go the way of the dodo. But if we can be brave, extinction could be safe. Adventure and romance, mystery and nonsense. Some fear and some hope, pulling us all close. So maybe we all know the way of the dodo.
Welcome to Altea, a land that is full of promise and adventure. From beautiful blue seas to tall snow-capped mountains, from rolling plains to desert sands, from thick forests to sparkling lakes. The only thing more diverse than the land is its people. So many different people toil, work, and thrive in these lands. And we're going to zoom in on a small town between 2 mountains. The town is called Brackenroad. There isn't a lot that puts Brackenroad on the map, but there is one thing that keeps it there, and that's their apples. You guys, Brackenroad apples are famous. They're the perfect apple. Perfect balance of sweet and tart.
But what kind of apples?
Honeycrisp.
Honeycrisp? Is it only Honeycrisp? What did you say?
They're Brackenroad apples.
They're just Brackenroad?
Yeah, they're Brackenroad apples. But what's the perfect apple to you, Joe?
Damn, don't flip. All right.
That's
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 Daggerheart.
karma. I was
That's-
trying to trap you into like naming.
They're Brackenroad apples. And, you know, in recent years, they've actually begun experimenting with various apple technologies. The pomologists that live within Brackenroad, which that's right, that's the study of apples, you guys. We're here to teach you something. The pomologists have all kinds of different Brackenroad apple strains. But, you know, we're not interested in the apples right now. We're interested in the people that live inside of Brackenroad. Can everybody roll a d12 for me? And whoever rolls highest gets to start.
8.
5. 1.
Whoa.
You know, to take a step back, Daggerheart is a little different from other tabletop role-playing games in that it is emphasized that the players also have, you know, equivalent control over certain story beats. And so I'm going to cede the floor over to you, Joe, my highest roller. How does Kapi's day start? Go ahead and you are now the DM, you're now the GM, and
Right.
you get to tell us, how does Kapi's day start?
Yeah, so Kapi sleeps at the Adventurers Guild. It's where he lives. It's where he's lived for years now. He's the senior member of the Adventurers Guild. And he gets up, he throws on his infamous Adventurers Guild jacket. He never goes anywhere without his jacket. It's faded, it's long, it's two-toned, kind of like a Letterman from high school. It has the patch for the Adventurers Guild on it, and it's very worn. He's probably going to get up and stumble in to find the owner of the Adventurers Guild. Do I pick his name? Or do you
His
have
name
a
is
name?
Cyrus, actually.
Cyrus, good.
To describe Cyrus, I want you to imagine a large simia, which is like a person that's like mostly ape. So this guy is closer to Donkey Kong than he is Diddy. He's very top heavy, like a swimmer. Red fur, completely red fur, like you're playing on Red Team in Super Smash Brothers, and you're also playing Donkey Kong. Except instead of a tie, he's got like a wife beater and a suspenders combo with some black slacks that have seen better days. And he's sort of like head on the front desk, empty bottle in his hand, snoring real loud.
He's like, Cyrus, come on.
That's Cyrus. He's doing that.
Yeah, okay. Come on, bud. Let's get you to bed.
What are you telling me to do?
Yeah, I know. Everyone's telling you what to do.
I'm at the desk. What do you want from me? I'm behind the desk here. I'm in my station. I'm at my post.
Yeah, we need to get you to sleep. How long have you been here?
I was sleeping just fine.
All right.
I was sleeping just fine.
Okay.
You don't gotta tell me what to do, kid.
All right. And I just grab the bottle forcibly, at least, and
Hey.
kind of walk off and throw it in the trash.
Hey, there were a couple good swigs in there.
Yeah. And as he's saying that, I'm already leaving the door.
You hear him like kind of yelling at you like he always does. Somewhat vague and somewhat ununderstandable.
And Cappy's used to it, so it's usually one ear out the other.
Today is
for the
no
most-
different.
No, today is no different. So he goes outside. It's a lovely day. He's headed for the town's bakery, which specializes in exclusively apple.
Apple confections.
Yeah.
Apple tarts. Apple pies.
Yes.
Apple
cakes.
fritters.
Apple fritters.
Apple fritters.
Yeah.
Apple muffins.
Fritters especially. Cappy loves apple fritters.
Love those fritters.
And that's actually where Cappy's headed right now to get his morning apple fritter. Like some people need their shower to wake up or like a cup of coffee. Cappy needs his apple fritter.
Cappy needs his apple fritter.
Yeah.
As Cappy is walking through the street, it's a beautiful springtime day. I'm going to say. I'm going to plant my flag on it. Springtime.
Cool.
It's going to make a lot of sense to you because Cappy, the place, the sleepy town of Brackenroad, is uncharacteristically abuzz. It's because in 2 weeks from now, it's going to be the Apple Festival. That's right. The Brackenroad Apple Festival is probably the most exciting thing that happens in the town. More exciting than pretty much every other holiday. People are in fast stances trying to get this place up and ready for the festival. And as you're walking in to this bakery, this place is no different. Tell me about this bakery. Tell us, the listeners, about this bakery.
Yeah, I mean, so the bakery has one of those bells that ring when you walk in the door. It's real quaint. There's, a few tables inside to, sit at and eat your pastry, maybe have your cup of coffee. I was going to say cup of Joe, but that's stupid.
Have a cup of Joe.
They're having a cup of you, Joe.
Yeah, I know, it's so dumb. So, Cappy, like, he's walking through town, like you said, it's really busy, everything's buzzing, and he's not paying any attention. He's just kind of like looking down, walking. He walks in the door. He sees that there's a big line, which is abnormal, and he's like, ah. So he kind of just stands there, and he waits to get to the front.
Yeah, you are standing in the back. in this little bakery. And this is kind of a small building, I would say. It's not
Yeah.
like a huge building by any means. It's a classic bakery. One door in, one door out. A couple people working there. Kapi, is there anyone that's working there today that you're happy to see, would you say?
I'm looking. I definitely am looking for someone to be working. It's Scarlet, who's a faun in this town. She happens to be the daughter of the apple orchard owners. It's a very lucrative, very successful, and she is very driven to, kind of take the reins of that business, and she runs the bakery for her parents.
You, in fact, see Scarlet.
Yeah.
Because much like most cafes we're used to, there is someone that is making drinks and making the food. And you know what they do? They call out the names of the people. So sure enough, you see Scarlet walk over to the edge of the little bar where you see there's a glass case with a lot of cooked earlier that day goods to show off what people can get. She stands right behind it, places a little order on it, and yells out a name. The name doesn't matter. In fact, I don't even think Kapi registers the name. All Kapi registers, I think, is the beautiful timbre of her voice.
Yeah, definitely. I imagine Cappy's here every day, so the attendants know him. And I assume they're also pretty annoyed generally with him trying to get Scarlet's attention. Like,
You actually see that one of them, a sort of older faun woman, sees you in the back there.
hi, Carol.
Hi, Kapi.
Hi. Can
Usual.
I get a? Is there any fritters left?
She points at the very edge, and you see, sure enough, that there is a little to-go bag with just the right amount of fritters.
Oh,
Just for
perfect.
you.
Could I actually get Scarlet to give me I just had the punch card, right? So I it's like if you get 10, like
And
it's-
you need Scarlet to punch it for
I
you.
thought maybe it meant a lot to her that I got 10. I know this is a big initiative for the bakery.
Right, it's a big initiative for
Big
her. For her.
Carol, can we just okay?
Scarlet, you got a customer. You see Scarlet comes over and sees you. It gives you a smile and says, Kapi, hi.
Hey, Scarlet.
Oh,
What's up?
Still working.
Still working. Yeah.
A lot of people here today.
It's really, really busy. Do you
It
like
is.
that when it's busy like this?
Well, it's good to know that the business is thriving.
Yeah,
Plenty of people coming in.
I love it. I'm a big fan of these new reward programs. that
Yeah, the
you-
punch card.
Yeah, this is my 10th one since you've
Oh,
launched
is it
it, which
really?
means it was 10 days ago that you launched.
That's right. This is a very fresh initiative.
Right. So I thought you would probably hey, what are you doing later?
Well,
Like after the bakery.
Oh, well, it's funny you should say that because, the Apple Festival's in 2 weeks.
Yeah, I know.
And
Big time
Oh,
for
we
the
gotta-
fam.
It is. I'm actually going to be working a double shift today.
Double
because-
shift. So like 7? Are you
Well,
off, or-
7 is when I get my dinner break.
Dinner break.
For
So
10 minutes.
dinner. So dinner. You want to do dinner tonight?
Today's really not a good day. Kapi.
Today's
It's really not.
No, I
I'm
get
sorry.
it. I'm really
I'm
busy
sorry.
too. I Adventure Guild. I like tap the the patch on my left side of the chest. Adventure Guild stuff. So
Her smile is so polite.
yeah, and he's trying so hard, like way too hard.
She kind of is just smiling, trying to figure out what to say, and just says, maybe another time.
Yeah,
Maybe another time.
I'll yeah. So
Yeah, maybe
I'll-
after the Apple Festival.
Okay,
Yeah.
yeah. Or maybe I could see you at the Apple. Okay, can I get my Fritter, please? Actually, just
She hands it to you and says, well, I hope you have a good day, Kapi.
yeah. You too, Scarlet.
Thank you.
Yeah. And I leave, and I'm just like on cloud 9. I'm talking to myself. I'm like, that was fantastic. That conversation. That was great. That was, man, back in the game. Kapi, let's go. Back in the saddle.
Kapi leaves, seeing none of the faces that Carol is making. But Kapi goes back to the building. And we move a little further away from maybe the town center where the guild is, maybe a little out further into the country to find a little house of, well, who am I to say what size the house is? Pistachio. Why don't you tell us a little bit about how Pistachio days start and what's around?
So the camera pans in on a farm land out in the outskirts of the city. It's not an apple farm. In fact, if the wizened viewers would see that it's actually a peanut farm. Brackenroad, yeah,
Brackenroad.
Brackenroad's other export that nobody really knows about is their nuts. in that like little farmland, there's a 2-story little cute farmhouse, and we pan into the top left window where we see there is a bedroom in there with 2 twin beds on either side of the room. There is a line down the center. On the right side, there's like, work boots and overalls, and the whole place is a style. This looks like somebody who's been working. And then on the left side, you see like a very orderly, like neat bed with like some books stepped up on a little desk, some notes like stuck all over the walls, including one of them saying, "First day today, 9 a.m. sharp." And there you see a little fawn, who's a very like lumpy and bumpy, rotund little person, with big spectacles and darting green eyes, and their little like red ringlets kind of just like nestled right above these like 2 fawn ears that jut out to either side of their head. As you said, this is spring, so you see them go, "Oh, okay. So it's like lightly cold, so I think I'm gonna go with a sweater for sure. But this green is green a little bit too on the nose. I guess I could go with blue, but blue's kind of boring. White would just mean that I've gotta like keep it from being kind of dirty. Oh, but I could go with argyle perhaps. Oh, or maybe cable lit. That might be a little bit too scandalous for the first day."
You hear a voice from down below
Oh.
and saying, "Hey, Pistachio, son, you gotta come on downstairs. Your mother has breakfast for you."
"Oh, coming, father." You see Pistachio will grab the white cable knit sweater, because it's the one that they look the best in, and then like put it on real quick and tie a little bow tie, and then scamper down the stairs.
You scamper down the stairs, and at the base of the stairs, you see your mother currently putting the finishing touches on a wonderful breakfast. She sees you and she says, "Oh, my dear. Oh, Pistachio, it's your first day. Gotta make sure you're fed. You gotta eat your food to have the energy for the day.
That's true.
Could be a long day."
It could be a long day. Do you think they're gonna have snacks, or should I pack like a lunch or something?
I talked to the receptionist of the Adventuring Guild, and the impression that I got was, I don't think you're going to have snacks for lunch.
Oh, crap. Oh,
Language.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry.
Now, don't you let those other adventurers start rubbing off on you now, okay? They can't start hurting your good behavior now, Pistachio.
You're right, Mom. It's, to be good is to do good, so I gotta be really good.
That's right. That's the Droon family motto.
That's the Droop family motto. Okay, do you happen to have any of the oat snacks with you? Or
Well, some of the dried snacks. Yeah, we have some dried snacks that your siblings there didn't finish yesterday when they were out working the fields.
Okay, fantastic. You got the ones without the nuts, right?
Oh, of course.
Because I don't want to break out in hives in the middle of the day. That would really make my day really upsetting.
Oh, my little baby breaking out in the middle of the day. It would be so terrible. She like grabs you in a hug and like squeezes your tummy.
Mom, stop. I'm a grown person now.
Oh, I know. My little Pistachio, they're all grown up. But, listen, Pistachio, just make sure you remember your roots, okay? When you become a big, strong adventurer and eventually you'll become a doctor.
Oh, right. Right. When I become a doctor, that's right. That's the whole purpose of me being here. Their eyes get really, really big, and like you could tell the anxiety is coming on, and they're just like...
That's right. That's, it's going to be a great thing. See, because all their siblings are all working the fields, and you can't work the fields because, you can't have nuts.
Yeah, I'm allergic.
You hear at the table, you see an older fawn man with big long horns and a newspaper in front of him. That's right. He reads the news every morning. You see that he puts the paper down and says, "Now, Almond, the kid's got to learn how to stand on his own, okay? So he can't be coddling him anymore."
Yeah, but if you want to cuddle me a little bit, that's okay.
Oh, I'll always coddle you, Pistachio.
Well, do you have the wraps for my horns so that they don't get stuck on any hats or anything?
Of course. She pulls out these little rubber covers for your horns and puts them on and gives you your snacks and everything. And as you're leaving, she's like waving from the stoop. Oh, Pistachio, you make your way down through the streets. The path into the town. It's not that long from where you're at. Does Pistachio run into anybody on the street?
Pistachio is very much making a beeline because they're trying to be early.
Nice. Pistachio is running down the street. You're going to be late. You're going to be late for such an important date. And you know what? I'm going to call for the very first roll of the whole game. Can I get an agility roll from Pistachio? For those just tuning in, Daggerheart is a 2d12 system. So what I need you to do right now, Rowan, is roll 2d12s. One of those d12s you will assign as your hope dice. The other dice you will assign as your fear dice. And what you're going to do when you roll these is add those two numbers together, add your agility modifier on your character sheet, and then tell me not only the total value, but you're going to tell me if the hope dice was higher, you're going to say with hope. And if the fear dice is higher, you're going to say with fear.
Ooh, that's a 17 with hope.
A 17 with hope. That is a success with hope, Pistachio. And let me ask, Rowan, who would be the best person that Pistachio could almost run into?
Gosh. The best person that Pistachio could run into would be Grandpa Mac. Old Mac.
Old Mac, Grandpa Mac, an old faun who has seen so much in his long life, is walking down the street, also preparing for the Apple Festival. He's got some groceries in his hands, and as you speed by him, he says, "Whoa there, kid. Oh, whoa there.
Oh, hi. Oh, sorry, Grandpa.
Oh, is today the day?"
Yeah, today's the first day.
Oh, that's right. I had almost forgotten that today is the day you're gonna get your start on your path to be a doctor.
Yep, to be a doctor.
You know, I was really glad to hear that you started, you know, because as I always say, if you want to fix things, you gotta learn how to break them first.
Well, yeah, considering all of the different pins and stuff that I broke on the little summer I spent on your farm, that's definitely know how to break them, so...
That's right, and you broke so many, but you know what? You at least fixed a couple of them towards the end there.
I did learn how to use tape.
Yes, you did. That's right.
I still haven't gotten the hang of nails, though.
Nope. No, my left thumb still remembers your attempt to grasp the idea of hammers.
So does my right toe.
He holds up his hand. He's missing most of his fingers.
You know, I can eventually figure out how to fix that, hopefully.
Oh, then listen, kid. I already fixed it a long time ago. You don't even, little Pistachio, don't even worry about it.
Oh, okay. Is Quackers doing okay on your farm?
Quackers is doing... Well, you know what? You have a good day, Pistachio. I don't want to keep you here too longer.
Oh, okay, all right. Well, I will let you know how my first day goes.
Pistachio, you continue down the street, eventually making your way to a building. And as Pistachio enters that building, we cut to a new place. Yo, Annie, crank that.
Oh,
Crank
well,
that, soldier boy.
Crank has been in Brackenroad for maybe 2 weeks at this point. This was the first place he came after being decommissioned by the military, after losing a good friend and mentor, and has showed up on the doorstep of that good friend and mentor's widower and their daughter. Crank has been granted permission out of nothing but pity that this was the only place he could come to have ingress and egress into the storm cellar at any time of day or night. So Crank comes online at exactly the moment the sun crests the horizon, as if it's programmed. And the first thing that Crank does every day, he has 2 errands that he runs, very routine. He will go to the bakery as they are opening, specifically to the back of the bakery, where they are throwing out the old, stale pastries, and he will procure those pastries and take them back to the home that has graciously allowed the use of their storm cellar and knock on the door of...
As if they're fake, or as if they're fresh baked.
Yeah.
Okay.
Listen, Scarlet wheels and deals. If there's a way that she can offload some of this trash without having to throw it away, Scarlet absolutely meets you every morning and hands you a big bag. Says, "Here you go."
Half of those pastries are for my host. Half of those pastries are for someone else, who we'll get to later. But I take half of these pastries back and I go up on the porch and I knock on the door and I stand there in my crumpled, crushed wizard's hat, which probably doesn't remind my host of anything happy. But just there, bright-eyed, and if you had a tail, it'd be bushy.
Craig stands there for, I think, the usual amount of time that Crank is usually standing there before the door cracks open a little bit. And sure enough, you see the host. Can you describe, what does this person look like?
The host's name is Timothy Toulouse, and he has kind of wavy dark hair that's a little bit longish. He's rather narrow built. Behind the edge of his cloak peeks a little girl about 7 or 8 years old, curiously.
Always looking at you with eyes that are curious and, maybe something more. Probably fear. Crank doesn't
Probably.
realize
Crank
that,
is
though.
large.
You hear a heavy sigh as Timothy is standing there. See, he's half dressed. He's got like his slacks that are like unbuttoned and a shirt that is like thrown on. Thank you for the delivery, Crank.
Good morning, Timothy.
Yeah. Yeah.
I've brought you some pastries.
Breakfast. Again. Well, thank you. I was wondering, since the Apple Festival was coming around, I was wondering if there would actually be anything for you to get, but looks like you you want to come in this time, or
Oh, I have to go to the library, but I just wanted to give you this gift. Bring you some food. I hope you like it.
Well, Crank, I appreciate it. I do. He holds out his hand to take the bag from you.
Give him the pastries.
Takes it. He takes the pastries. Well, study hard at the library.
I will. I always do.
He looks kind of up at your hat, then back to you. You feel like he's too tired to be upset. He simply smiles and snips back and says, "Go back, Elena." And he closes the door.
All right, Crank will take the other half of the pastries, and he will go to the very small library in this town. It's just called the Brackenroad Library, but the N is missing, and the L is crooked, and the first R in library is missing, so it just says Break Road Library, and he will wait there until it opens.
Like
Just standing in front of the door.
like clockwork, within 30 seconds of what would be the equivalent of 30 minutes after you woke up, you hear the resounding snap of the door opening and unlocking. And opening the door is the librarian. Annie, tell me about this librarian. What's this librarian all about?
This librarian is kind of getting up there in years. I think she's a hunched older lady with spectacles and gray hair and a shawl around her shoulders. And she's probably getting a little confused about why this robot is standing outside of her library every single day for 2 weeks. It's not a large library. They don't have a lot of selection of books, but every single day for 2 weeks, I have shown up. I have handed her a bag of very stale pastries, and I have sat and I have scanned every single book about magic that they have with my scanning eyes.
Just in your wizard hat.
Just in my wizard hat and my scrap of a cape that matches the hat. But
I'm going to roll a dice real fast as a GM. Okay, there are 18 books about magic. 3 of them are children's books.
well, in my memory banks, I have 14 copies of those 18 books because I do this every day without fail, just in case I miss something because I really want to learn magic.
Have you told the librarian this goal of yours?
I think that Crank takes any act of kindness from anyone as an earnest desire to be best friends. So he has probably told this woman his entire life story. So I'm sure that she is aware.
Crank has the same sensibilities as every somewhat sheltered middle school boy. This is fantastic. Crank, Crank, you have the same book. She lays them out for you. She's smiling so kindly at you and says, well, Crank, have you discovered any new discoveries in these books? Anything new about magic?
Well, these books are the same books as there were yesterday, and they're the same books that they were 2 weeks ago, but I will find anything that's different.
You know,
Have you gotten any new books?
I did reach out to the capital to see if there were any that they could spare for us. I'm afraid that we're a little out of the way, but perhaps at the time of the Apple Festival, someone will come by with a shipment of some. I've asked for any books they have on magic. They didn't seem too enthusiastic about my request, but knowledge is for everyone. That's what I always say, because I'm a librarian.
Well, that's very nice of you. You know, if I never had a mother, but if I ever had a mother, I'd want her to be like you.
Oh, I guess you wouldn't have had a mother, would you? Well, Crank, I'm happy to be your mother.
Oh, that's so nice. I will bring you extra pastries tomorrow.
Oh, you just warm my little heart. Oh, you know, I haven't felt this good in 30 years. You see she walks back behind her desk where she's currently wolfing down an apple fritter. You see that another person comes into the library. See, this is like a man maybe in his like early 20s. His horns, because he's a faun, are, well groomed. He's got a nice vest on, and he kind of makes small talk with the lady up front. He walks over to you and says, hey there. It's all dark and metal. How are you doing? What you reading here?
I'm reading magic. I'm reading about magic.
Oh.
I want to become a wizard.
Oh, a wizard, shall you? Well, I have heard many of your kind being able to do magic. That's very exciting.
What do you mean by my kind?
Well, assembled men like yourself. Clanks, as it were.
Guess that makes sense.
You'd see...
You've heard about people like me doing magic?
Well, yes, of course.
Where are these people? Can I talk to them?
Oh, well, they're not here per se.
Well, how do you know that they can do magic then?
Well, I've met in my travel. Have you ever heard of a place called Polaris University?
Oh, yes. Polaris.
Yes.
That's where I'm going.
Oh, you're going there. Very
Yes.
Good. Do you have a recommendation already?
Well, no, but...
We could at least do magic, right?
Well, I'm... Of course I can do magic. What do you mean?
Oh, were you not... Oh dear. You see that he looks very uncomfortable. He realizes that his affable nature has gotten him in trouble. And he says, well, I'm sure that it'll come to you one day. Anyways, sorry to bother. I'm just, I'm new in town, and I'm just, making conversation with whoever I find.
I am also new in town.
Really?
Would you like to read these books about magic with me?
Oh, dear, no. I think, I've read those books before. I think I read those to my kids, actually.
Can your kids do magic?
No, they really like the stories.
Oh. Well, I really have to read these just in case there's something new in them.
Oh, okay.
But it was nice talking to you.
Of course. What do they call you?
My name is Crank.
Oh, nice to meet you, Crank. You can call me Sebastian.
Nice to meet you, Sebastian.
Ah, very good. Say, Crank, you wouldn't happen to know of any good bars in town, would you? Any bars or places that a man can get a nice stiff drink after a long day of travel?
I don't really drink.
I should have thought of that, actually. I should have considered that point. Well, Crank, this has been a very, awakening conversation for me. I was rather sleepy, but now I think I'm wide awake to the cringe of this conversation. So I'm just going to cut my losses and vamoose.
Well, if you tell me where you live, I can bring you pastries.
That's quite all right. I don't have a permanent place, I'm just going to go. And he walks out and leaves.
Oh, okay. Well, I go back to reading my books.
You read your books for as long as it takes you. And then you hear a chime of the clock in the library. It is 9 o'clock.
Oh no. I'm late. And I will just put the books in a very neat pile on the table. And I will wave goodbye to the librarian / my mother. And I will make my way to the Adventurers Guild because it's my first day.
Your new mom smiles as you leave, and she walks over to put the books back up, thankful that you organized them, even though she's going to have to undo that and organize them in the correct way. But it doesn't take long before, Crank, you step into the Adventurers Guild to see 3 individuals in the room. And I think that's where we're going to end this session of Dodoborne, you guys. I think that's a good first episode.
What?
I think that's a
Wait,
first
what?
good time.
Ugh.
Listen, all in due time, you guys. All in due time.
I am
Listen,
impatient.
Rome wasn't built in a day, and neither were we. But that's all for this episode of Dodoborne, you guys. Tune in next week when our heroes, you'll have to tune in to find out what they do. All right. Good night, everybody.